Saudi Arabia. It's a country that has quite a bit of controversy surrounding it, and in the West, it may not have the greatest reputation. But no matter how much you think you know about this place, there's a lot of things that you didn't know. So in this video, I'm taking a look at 12 unbelievable facts regarding Saudi Arabia. What's happening, everybody? My name is Leroy Kenton. Welcome back to another episode of FTD Facts. So yeah, in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at some of the controversial points, as well as some of the great points about Saudi Arabia. And before I continue, since you guys have been supporting this channel so much, I gotta give some shout outs because you guys send me tons of photos on Instagram. Here we have Abdullah Bayzid. He's watching all the way from Hyderabad, India. Thanks for all the amazing wishes. We're definitely gonna keep it going with these videos because not only are we able to teach you something, but we also learn something ourselves. And here we have Ruthwick_Tommy. He's also from Hyderabad, India. You guys are like neighbors or something? What the heck? I don't know which one's you. I assume that you're the one that's holding the phone to take the selfie. Maybe you're the person at the side of the picture. But anyways, hey, what's going on to both of you? And here we have Mariana Brandenburg. She says, hi, this is my sexy face. So guys, if you want to be featured in a video, follow me on Instagram. The link is down below. Send us your photos. It could be something crazy. It could be something simple. We like to have a good time here with FTD Facts community. So let's continue with the facts about Saudi Arabia. Now there's 4 names that you can actually call the country. The conventional long form name of Saudi Arabia is Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The conventional short form is simply Saudi Arabia. The local long form is Al-Mamlaka Al-Arabia As-Saudiya. The local short form is Al-Arabia Al-Saudiya. Now, did you guys know that Saudi Arabia is the largest country in the world without a river? The extensive coastlines on the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea make things great for shipping things like crude oil through the Persian Gulf and the Suez Canal. The modern Saudi state was founded in 1932 by a man named Abdulaziz bin Abdul Rahman. After a 30-year campaign to unify most of the Arabian Peninsula, one of his male descendants rules the country today, as required by the country's 1992 Basic Law. Now, in regards to princes of Saudi Arabia, there's over 7,000 Saudi Arabian princes alive today, and they estimate that the royal family is up to 30,000 people. Each of the princes in Saudi Arabia get top priority when it comes to getting jobs and professional opportunities. And they also must be hired before a non-prince could get a job. So let's talk about the driest places on earth. Where could that be? Obviously Saudi Arabia, because we're talking about it. Most specifically, the Rub al-Khali, or the Empty Quarter. This is considered the driest place on earth. Now this desert, which is 1,000 kilometers, which is roughly 620 miles long, and 500 kilometers, about 310 miles wide, occupies a large portion of Saudi Arabia. In regards to religion, Saudi Arabia is actually the birthplace of Islam, as well as it's the home to Islam's 2 holiest shrines, in Mecca and Medina. That's why the King of Saudi Arabia's official title is actually the custodian of the 2 holy mosques. And as a matter of fact, non-Muslims are prohibited to set foot on these 2 places. And since we are talking a little bit about religion, guys, I want to know down below in the comment section, what religion are you? Or if you're not a religious person, what do you identify as? The Islamic law is also the law of the land, which means judges give punishments based on their interpretation of the Quran, as well as all judges in Saudi Arabia are handpicked by the king. In regards to tradition, Saudis have great respect for privacy, so you never ever film a woman in public. As well as you can take photos of males, but you gotta get their permission first. It's not like in North America where the press has a free-for-all. Everybody's taking photos of everybody. Now, to touch on a pretty controversial topic, women in Saudi Arabia cannot own property, leave the house, sign legal documents, or take classes without the permission of a male guardian like her husband, father, brother, or son. Also, on top of that, in court, a woman's testimony is considered 50% less trustworthy than a male's testimony. Now, in terms of wildlife, here we have the graceful Arabian oryx. It was actually listed as extinct in the wild by the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. Afterwards, it was reintroduced in the deserts of Saudi Arabia. The antelope was again reclassified as vulnerable. This animal was again reclassified as vulnerable, making it one of the few animals in the world whose population has increased after nearly disappearing. Now, the title for the world's tallest building is always a title that some country wants to have. But in 2018, that title will belong to the Kingdom Tower, which is a centerpiece of a new city being built in Saudi Arabia. The Kingdom Tower is set to be the first building to ever reach more than a kilometer, which is about 3,280 feet into the air. And it will include a hotel, observatory, office space, as well as have apartments for people that want to take a look at the view from so high up. Now, once construction for the tower is complete, it's likely that this will not be passed for a good while. As well as one analyst says that reaching 1 kilometer into the air like the Kingdom Tower would is currently the limit of what engineering can do.
This project is anticipated to finish in 2018. This whole project, which is really the 1,000 meter plus.
Now, before we go, let's talk a little bit about the water problems in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has an average summer temperature of 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, for the past several decades, they have been using water from an aquifer, which is an underground body of rock that has been saturated with water. Aquifers are great sources of water, but the problem with them is that they refill slowly. And what started out as a viable water supply source has now depleted so much so that only 20% of it is left. Also, Saudi Arabia desalinates more water than any other country in the world. And desalination is pretty much just taking salt and other chemicals out of water. But even being the world leaders in desalination, that's still not enough. In order to meet the demand for fresh water, around $200 billion would need to be spent on desalination resources over the next decade. So that concludes this episode of FTD Facts on Saudi Arabia. We just scratched the surface. There's so many more facts to observe. So if you want a part 2, let me know down below as well. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and send in your photos, because I like to know where you're watching FTD Facts from. I like to interact with you guys. And let's keep learning from each other and appreciating one another, even though we're different parts of the world, different nationalities, different religions, whatever. At the end of the day, we're all people. Thank you guys for being awesome. Until next time, I'm Leroy Kenton. Boom.